All right. Hey, welcome back. I'm Eric Kane. Last night, I went to the Super Mario Brothers movie with my kids. My kids are 12 and 15, going on 13 and 16 here real soon. I am 41 years old, going on 16. Uh, Look, I grew up with Mario. When I was a kid, I first remember hearing about Nintendo in I don't know, second grade or something. I didn't have one. We weren't a big, we didn't have very much money. And my parents had told me I would, once I found out what this was, my aunt actually had a Nintendo, and that's where I first played Mario Brothers. My parents said, no, we're never going to get that. You're not allowed to have video games. And then on my, I think it's my 10th birthday, I think it was, I opened up a present, and it was a NES system, not even a Super Nintendo, just the Nintendo. And I remember, and I think there's video footage of this that I'll have to find, but I burst into tears. I was so overjoyed. And that's what it came with, the gun and duck hunt and everything, and just amazing, just a wonder. I don't know what happened to that Nintendo. Unfortunately, I think it stopped working years ago. My aunt still has her Nintendo, however, and we have this log cabin that my grandpa built up in Montana, and oftentimes that Nintendo will be there. So when we go up to the cabin, we'll play Nintendo. I think the last time I sat down with Super Mario Brothers, I got to New Game plus or something. Just rolled that game. I am much better at video games now than when I was 10. Anyways, I then have had pretty much every Nintendo system, almost, not every, but pretty much every. There was a period of time when I wasn't really gaming, when I was young and broke and focused on things like girls and partying. But I played, Mario's been a part of my life. These characters have been part of my life for my whole life, just to establish kind of this is a big deal to me. And it's funny because the D&D movie just came out also, and D&D has also for about the same amount of time been a part of my life. And these are two games that have been a huge aspect of my personal development, of my taste making, of kind of what I do still today. I play D&D, I play Mario games, I play video games, and they both got really good movies within about a week of each other. I've talked about Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I loved that movie. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. I might go see it a third time because I'm trying to get my parents to go, even though they're not into D&D or whatever. But I think that they would really like it. And my 89-year-old grandma is coming to visit, and I'm going to try to get her to go. So we'll see. But then I liked that movie more than the Mario movie. The Super Mario Brothers movie is definitely aimed a little bit younger. It's a beautiful movie. It's really, really fun. It's just a great, honest, faithful adaptation of the video games, while still, being, making a joke here or there at their expense. Princess Peach is not just the damsel in distress from the first game, but honestly, by the second time, Mario Brothers 2, you were already playing as Peach, as one of the heroes in the game, and so I don't think that's really that much of a modern update, but it's definitely geared towards kids. I mean, a lot of the humor in the movie is definitely aimed at a young audience, but it's still very charming for older viewers. My daughter, who's smack dab in the middle of her teenage years, was laughing a lot at this movie and thought it was just so much fun and so great. And I think she actually probably got a bigger kick out of it than my 12-year-old son, although he seemed to really enjoy himself. He was, however, sitting next to a pair of teenagers who were talking throughout the movie quite a bit and were pretty rude, so that was kind of annoying. Definitely the worst part about going to that movie was those teenagers. And there was lots of kids that were very into it. After certain scenes, there were kids repeating the lines or just being very enthusiastic. It was definitely very kid forward movie, but really, so this follows Mario and Luigi, who are plumbers in Brooklyn. Chris Pratt plays Mario, and he does a great job with the voice. A lot of people are really worried about this, but he just has sort of a light Brooklyn accent. There's a fun bit where they're doing a commercial for their plumbing company where they ham up the Italian voices, and then there's a couple points throughout the movie where he says things like, "Mamma mia, it's a me, Mario," that kind of thing. But for the most part, he just has kind of a Brooklyn accent, like a New Yorker, just pretty mild, not that strong, not that thick. It works. All the characters really work. I mean, I know Seth Rogen, people giving him some shit about just doing the Seth Rogen voice for Donkey Kong. I could take it or leave it. I thought it was fine. He was a funny character, not that big of a part, really. This was definitely more of a Mario-focused movie. And honestly, I think Cranky Kong had a bigger, funnier role than Donkey Kong. But really, just this movie is a visual feast. It's the animation is absolutely stunning. And honestly, I kept thinking throughout this movie, I wish Nintendo would take graphics seriously, because oh my god, if we had an actual Nintendo system where the games looked this good, if a new 3D Mario World or some big open world Mario game came out and looked like this, that would blow everybody's mind. I know that Nintendo focuses on its gimmicks and on its long running franchises and on making good games before graphical fidelity, before powerful systems. That's why the Nintendo Switch is essentially 2 generations behind at this point, about the same power as like an original Xbox One. And yes, I am bothered by this fact. I think that Nintendo really needs to up its graphics game, and I think this movie is proof of that, because there are some scenes. There's one scene where they're running through Brooklyn, and it turns into a 2D side-scroller, basically, and they're jumping over things, and it's, platforming their way through this, and I thought, this is a game I would love to play. I would love a whole world built like this, and they had, there was like a burger place that looked like, it was like Castle Burgers, and it looked like the little brick castles in the first Mario game. I'd love to see that in that level of graphical fidelity in an actual game. I think that would be so much fun. And yes, I think graphics matter. I mean, obviously, gameplay first. I'm a firm believer in that. A very pretty game that plays terribly, no fun. But come on, we know that Nintendo can make the game fun. We know they can make the games good. Let's make them look good too. I mean, we have the sequel, the Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom coming out, and it looks great. But man, the graphics, just imagine if they were, up to speed with like Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever, Horizon Forbidden West, or some of these games that have been coming out on PlayStation 5 and on PC and whatnot. And I know that like within Nintendo, it's art style first, it's game mechanics first, and then graphical fidelity. But man, let's just imagine, right? So anyways, that's a little bit of I'm going off on a tangent here, but that's what the movie made me think. It made me think, oh my God, this would be awesome as a game. And that's a good thing to feel during a video game movie. A lot of video game adaptations are not that great. So it was nice to see something that felt so faithful and so much fun and so much like a video game with so many references to the video game. I don't know that there were an overwhelming amount of Easter eggs and video game references, but there were just enough to keep you always sort of chuckling and smiling. Things are good right now in video game adaptation land, right? We got this, we've got The Last of Us, which did a pretty dang good job, minus some quibbles. I had some quibbles, but it's been pretty good. We had Arcane on Netflix, which was fantastic, and just more and more, I think people making these movies and these TV shows actually play the games and understand them. That's why I've got Castlevania, and again, the Dungeons and Dragons. I know that's not a video game, but it is a game, and that movie did a great job adapting that game into a movie. In terms of just like faithfulness to Super Mario Brothers, the video game, I think you everyone looks how you picture them. They look just like out of the games, just better. Luigi's always kind of scared, and it's kind of a funny riff on sort of the Luigi's Manor and all those, ghostly, haunted Luigi always scared games. And, Princess is tough, and Toad is tougher, and Donkey Kong's full of himself, and Cranky Kong's cranky, and Bowser's hilarious. Jack Black plays Bowser. Much prefer him in that than in the latest episode of The Mandalorian. He's funny. He's like pining over Peach the whole time, and he does his Jack Black singing and playing music thing, and it's great. He's funny. It feels like this is the start of what could very easily be a Mario Brother movie franchise. So introducing Mario to the Mushroom Kingdom and meeting Peach, and it's just kind of that first step in their journey. And there's so many worlds to explore there, so that's great. And there are There's a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene you should stick around for. It's just a teaser. One's just a funny bit. The post-credit scene is a teaser for the sequel. I won't spoil it here. But this is very classic Mario. Faithful adaptation, a lot of fun. Kids are going to love it. If you're a grown-up like me, who is mostly still a kid and has grown up on these games, then you're going to love it. Personally, I like Mario Kart probably more than any Mario game. I love Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8 was brilliant. And I've been playing every Mario Kart game since the very first one. And there's some great Mario Kart stuff in here. I'd like to actually see more of it. And I'd actually like to see some of this movie make its way into the games. Some of these racers and karts make their way into the game. Hell, I'd like to see a Minions DLC, little free DLC show up in Mario Kart. Speaking of Mario Kart, I have not played that in a while. I need to play that again. So, anyways, I think this is great. Go see it on a big screen. Bring your kids. Bring your inner child. The critics have not been kind to this movie. It's 54% on Rotten Tomatoes, but audiences, 96%. Cinema score, A. This movie's doing really, really well with audiences, and I think that just a lot of movie critics just don't know anything about Mario, and they should probably go play some video games. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Peace.